Hello everyone, welcome to the second chakra in our healing series and me talking about the chakras. I'm Jaspir. I help you heal, rise, and live more soul aligned. I'm here to guide you to help find yourself again. You come here to rediscover yourself. I help you take the mask of conditionings off. What are you hiding? Who are you behind that mask? All this conditioning. Let's take it off. So, thank you for joining in. And if you're new, do subscribe. Welcome to the family. And I hope you learned something new today. Just a little update. I am holding a seminar on the next weekend, August 15th, 16th, 17th, I believe the dates are, and seats are pretty much full. It's a free seminar. If you're interested, it's going to be on about spirituality, and it's free to join. It's about 1 hour in length. Only requirement is you must know Zoom, and it'll be in English. So reach out, and if the seats are not full yet, I'll respond back to you. If not, I'll send you an email. Maybe about a month or two from now, we'll do another one, and you'll be seated then. So let's get started on today's video. Today's video is on the second chakra, the sacral chakra. It's very exciting, but there's a lot of darkness in this video because there's a lot of trauma that has to be dealt with this chakra. And everybody just talks about creativity, joy, sexual pleasure, but there's a lot more hidden in this chakra than some of the other videos you might have seen. And I just want to mention one thing, that each house, each chakra, each energy in this world, there's three parts to it: the creation of that energy, the preserving of that energy, and destroying that energy. Each chakra is created, it's preserved, and it can be destroyed. Just like the cells. Something created the cells, something is preserving the cells, and something can destroy the cells, that energy. So there's three parts to every matter in this universe. And throughout this video, I'll use a couple terms: awareness, intent, and like the divine bliss or the oneness. I've made videos at the introduction of healing series. If you're new, make sure you watch it. So second chakra, sacral, why it's important, and why is it said the Kundalini rises from the base up? So why is this the storage house of Kundalini? Why is spirituality so scary when the Kundalini rises? Because when that fire from your sacral chakra rises finally through all the chakras, all the emotions, trauma, guilt, shame, it's all going to be brought up as it's been sitting there in the sacral chakra. So where is the sacral chakra? The sacral chakra, the second chakra in the body, is located below your belly button. The space between your hip bones, that's the energetic center of your sacral chakra. So it covers your womb, your uterus, your private reproductive organs, and it's your pelvic muscles. I always refer to the sacral chakra as your pelvic muscles. And why does a lot of guilt come up? Because the guilt is stored in the space between the cells in the pelvic muscle, the energetic center there. And the sacral chakra, the awakening of the Kundalini in the horoscope, in a chart, in astrology, which house does it respond to? The 8th house. So the Kundalini is awakened from the 8th house. Where is sexual trauma seen from? 8th house. Looking at the planets, what planets are in the 8th house, you can tell what is this person holding on to. Why is 8th house known as the house of inner shadow work? Because all the trauma, all the shadow, all the feelings are stored in the pelvic muscles in the 8th house. Now, another information I want to share with you. The root chakra, the starting point, is a very masculine energy, the go-getting, the rough tough, building a house, shelter. Now, the second chakra, it's a very soft and feminine and divine energy. And when we're talking about the 8th house, what's there? Tantra, black magic, occult, Usually people pray to which goddess when we're talking about the 8th house? Kali Mata, right? The divine feminine mother. The second chakra, Venus controls it, reproductive, your sperm, your seeds. So it's a very feminine energy in there. A lot of people associate it with watery energy because of the fluidity of emotions and so forth. But if we talk about the 3 spiritual signs, the Moshtirkon, the 4th house, the 8th house, and the 12th, the Cancer, the Scorpion, and the Pisces, what are they? They're water signs. So the sacral chakra, so that's a lot of information to absorb. So the sacral chakra is a very water-like energy, feminine energy. Now, everybody is excited about this, right? Oh, sexuality, sensuality seen from here. That's a positive side. Remember, whatever happens in your lifetime, and it's not in this lifetime. If you're having your Ketu or some other Mahadasha now, but remember, you're reborn Ketu. So from Ketu to Ketu, the 120-year span is your soul journey. Now in that soul journey, what kind of trauma, what kind of abuse, what kind of guilt did you experience that is stored in your pelvic muscles? This is your physical body. Like I said, this glass, I always give this example. Your pelvic muscles are at the bottom of your base there. Pelvic muscles control and release your the flow of the urine or other extraction muscles there. But on these muscles, what sits there? Now, whenever you witness some events, that energy that has entered your body, it goes like a rock and it sits here. Body shimming. It's gonna sit on the muscles here. Any guilt, any sexual trauma that you have gone through, it's sitting right there on the muscles of these. It could not be from this lifetime, but there's just planets there in your 8th house, or if you have seen or gone through any type of trauma, whether it be sexual or any other kind in this lifetime, it's all sitting there. And now, what happens is, people who are intimate during sex, and a lot of the time your partner could start crying and you don't even know why they started crying halfway or after they have an orgasm, they cry. Why? Because when that energy comes up, it's carrying a lot of guilt and trauma with it to the surface, into tears. And they don't even know their body is holding on to certain things. A lot of people don't even feel pleasure during sex. Why? Because these muscles are so tight now from years and years of having to go through shame, guilt, emotional numbness, even addiction behaviors. Then you end up with these tight muscles down there. A lot of guilt gets stored down there. Every single one of you behind this camera don't like the word sex openly. Why? We have always been taught it's wrong, it's dirty, you dirty little boy, you dirty little girl. Society speaks in a negative way, but everybody enjoys it. That conditioning growing up that, hey, don't do that, it's very wrong, it's very dirty. When did anybody even tell you to accept this in a beautiful way? You've been conditioned. That conditioning, when it breaks, there's a lot of crying, the guilt that's attached to it. A lot of people don't engage in self-love practices just because of the conditioning that's holding them back. A lot of people don't even reach out to date. They're scared because of how much conditioning they have gone through. Sexual trauma holds you back. If you have not dealt with, opened up, 8th house, right? 8th house opening up is not easy. Anything that's stored in the 8th house, anything that your body has absorbed, and you have not released it, it's gonna create problems in this lifetime to you. Or if you're gonna reproduce and create a new life energy, a baby I'm talking about, and you're gonna pass it down. That child, I'm sorry to say, but might be born with sexual dysfunction because you did not heal with your own trauma. So The energies in the sacral, it's very, very dark and intense to deal with. This is the birth of the inner shadow work, inner child healing. So 6th, 8th, 12th houses are not dushtan, they're not bad houses. They just ask you to confront your dark sides. Now, there's a positive and a negative side to each chakra. The negative side, now, if you're not doing it with awareness, if you're not aware of your sexual energy, if you're not doing things with awareness, you're releasing it. That energy is never ever making it up to the solar chakra, the 3rd chakra. Now, what does that leave you with? Fatigue, no low energy in the body, sexual dysfunction down the road. And you, for 2 minutes of joy, you're not doing it with awareness, you're just doing it for numbness. What are you holding back? You can use that energy to go create, to paint, to do a dance, to flow. Let that energy flow with bliss in your body. I'm not saying don't be sexual human being. No, sex is not forbidden in spirituality. Sex is one of the most beautiful act, a union that we have been given in this lifetime to create a new life. It's not something dirty, it's very sacred, but practice it with awareness. Now, if somebody's addicted, if someone's masturbating every single day, they don't have any self-courage. That energy never makes it to the solar. They're just finishing it in their sacral. Why? Because they don't have the courage to face their inner shadows that's making them this way. Self-image issues. What's holding them back? That's leading to this behavior. Why aren't they open up emotionally? Emotional repression is a sign of a huge blocked sacral chakra. So, a person, now let me give you an example. A person with a blocked root chakra that we talked about in the last video, somebody who's always worried about losing their job, they don't have enough money to make the mortgage payment, the loan payment, or they're not bringing enough. That energy is scattered. It's not there in the root. How can it make it to the 2nd chakra? How can they even think about reproducing or enjoying pleasure or going out on a Friday night if they don't have enough money? So that root chakra has to be balanced in order for the energy to move into the sacral now. So once the energy has reached the sacral, your kundalini is going to awaken. What do you do with it spiritually is up to you. But in order to work through it, now, are you completely closed off from the world? That you're completely against self-pleasure? Some people feel guilty even from getting turned on. That's guilt. That's conditioning. You are allowed to feel pleasure. It's a human nature. It's a human feeling. You don't need to practice celibacy for 30, 60, 90 days in order to become a superhuman spiritual being. You gotta balance everything. A lot of people cry during intimacy because there's so much healing that needs to be done on them. I cannot talk enough about the inner shadow work that needs to be done with this chakra for you guys to understand. Now, people that are misusing, again, the negative side of this, if there's so much guilt and trauma that's holding them back, what do they end up with? Addictive behaviors. They don't have enough self-worth, self-courage. A lot of people are selling their pictures online just to earn a living. Is that a positive energy or a negative energy? I'm not going to comment on it because so be it, but there's so much energy that's hidden in them. Now, of someone who's, for example, is engaging in intimate practices with their partners, random partners. You go on Tinder, you go online, you're meeting somebody new every single weekend. You're exchanging energy with so many people. You're sleeping around with girls. You're not, or even you're sleeping with guys, both partners, whoever you're dating. You're exchanging energies without even knowing who they have slept with. How much emotional baggage are you going to absorb? Energy transfer is real. And you gotta be very, very aware who you're dealing with. Who are you exchanging energies with? What do they mean to you? Where are they coming from? And a lot of people, now, let me get into this. How can you enjoy pleasure, sex, or even going out if there's so much guilt hidden inside you? A lot of people don't open up. Even when I ask, for example, about in readings or something about, even if I touch on the 8th house, they said, no, I'm okay, or I don't want to talk. No, nothing happened. But you know it's there and they're not comfortable opening up yet. So it's up to you to take your mask or finally speak out on things that are holding you back, because otherwise it impacts your sex life. And that goes for male and females. Now, a male who's not emotionally available, excuse me, who's emotionally repressed, sorry, emotional numbness leads to sexual dysfunction, low sex drive, the guilt, the shame that's around pleasure can have a huge impact on your private, intimate life. For example, someone who's gone through sexual trauma, can they really feel pleasure? Not really. They're scared to engage. Memories come up again. That touch, if it's a female who's gone through sexual trauma, the touch of a masculine, if she's not healed, is gonna awaken the trauma inside her. And where's that trauma stored? In the pelvic muscles. People who have gone through or that have a lot of guilt and stuff, they're overgivers. They don't know healthy boundaries, emotional boundaries. These are created from the sacral chakra. A lot of people don't even find joy in the simple moments of life. Enough about sexual pleasure. Let's go on to the other things that this chakra governs. Your creativity, your joy, your sensuality. Guilt. What kind of guilt? Some people feel guilty if they take time away from work and go spend a weekend on camping. Why? Because they're conditioned so much that they should always be working or be productive. In path of spirituality, joy and rest are key elements. A lot of people earn well, but they cannot spend. There's guilt. Simple spendings on buying, like for example, a new shirt for themselves, they feel guilty because they might have been brought up in a rough childhood where they've gone through some financial crisis and now they feel guilty every time they're spending. Some people, all they want to do, come home and spend the weekend at home, and they're scared to go dancing because they were body shamed, or they're scared of going out to dance, go salsa. Why does sensuality, creativity awaken this fire? Because your body is moving, your joy is awakens, okay? Like a very healthy, good, balanced chakra, joy, passion, pleasure, intimacy, trust, healthy boundaries, your self-worth, okay? Your inner child awakens. You're a little bit playful, spontaneous, like last minute trips, joy, like all these things are good signs, you know? Your comfortable sexuality, like sexually, your reproductive organs are functioning well. Males, for example, you could be having, on the negative side, sexual dysfunction. Girls, you could be having really bad period cramps. So there could be something inside that's holding that. So remember, energy needs to move. Energy needs to flow, be creative. So look at the people that go on a date night, on a Friday night, and go salsa dancing, and how nicely they get intimate when they come back home. They connect. They have a very beautiful connection and they become one. Whereas compared to someone who's just doing it for the sake of feeling pleasure for 2 minutes, and it's a task for them. There's no sensuality there. Sensuality isn't born in the bedroom. It's born from a simple message, from communication, from a beautiful touch, going for a nice dinner, having a nice meal, having a good conversation. Your senses are being awakened now. That's sensuality. And that converts into sexuality. So it's very, very important for this chakra to awaken. You need to face your dark shadows, those conditioning. Otherwise, that conditioning, that guilt is always gonna forever hold your smile back. What else can I say on this? Because this is the awakening of the primal awakening of Kundalini, the life energy force. Now, you're safe in your root chakra, you have a home, you have good income, you have a partner you get intimate with, you're creating life force, you're enjoying intimacy. Only then will that energy rise up to your third chakra, which I'm going to do next, into your self-courage. But if you're addicted, you want to do shadow work to see why you're having these addictive behaviors. Why are you constantly doing self-pleasure once, twice, 3 times a day, and then you just pass out and sleep? Why aren't you using that energy for something else out there, for creating? It's going to lead to chronic fatigue if you don't stop that behavior. And I mentioned it before, for someone, it's very important for you to be there for your partner if they've gone through some sexual trauma in the past, because that trauma is stored in the pelvic muscles. So be gentle with them, work through them, see what feelings are coming up, what's holding them back from being their true selves. So sacral chakra isn't awakened through some yoga poses. I respect those. That's to maintain your body and to upkeep. But for you to go deep down, you have to do your inner shadow work. So that's it for my take on the sacral chakra. You don't have to visualize any orange colors, any certain type of colors that people say to give energy, this and that. All you need to do is face your deepest, darkest fears. It's what's stopping you from becoming yourself. Take those masks off. Courage. What's holding you becoming from doing something, from taking a step, from becoming courageous? It's fear. Fear is pulling you back, right? Where is fear sitting? In the sacral, in your pelvic bones, in your pelvic muscles. You have to overcome the fears that are holding you back, your limiting beliefs, your conditions, whether it be with pleasure, with sensuality, with anything in life. You have to face those fears. Only then do you become courageous. Whether it be the fear of the dark, fear of spiders, any kind of fear. Only then do you live more soul aligned. You have to face your fears. Why is Tantra born out of the 8th house? The hidden, your fear, your guilt, the inner enemies are born out of sacral chakra. So let me ask you again, what's holding you back from becoming yourself? Because unless you face your fears, you're never going to be courageous. It's a simple concept. So I wish you well, happy healing, and hope you have learned something new, that what's hiding behind. Now, if you have trouble going into the deep, in your deep shadow work, if you have trouble opening up with somebody who's not listening to you, email me. My email is always in the description box below, guys. I'm always available to connect. I'll happily help you tap in to your inner shadow to see what's holding you back from feeling pleasure, from feeling joy, from what are the fears that are there. It's a very sacred space when we connect. I hope to hear from you soon. I hope you guys like this video, and like I said before, this chakra is not a very pleasant one. It's very dark, very 8th house like, very deep energies. So hope you have learned something new, and I'll be back probably on the weekend with the third chakra. Hope you guys are healing well. Happy healing. Thank you for staying this long and watching the whole video. So much love to you guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.